Hello and welcome to the 23rd StackRox community meeting. I am the StackRox co-chair, Michael Foster. I'm joined by my other lovely co-chair, Matthias Mettinger. And this is the March community meeting. Specifically, we're going to cover everything to do with the 4.4 release. I'm going to give you updates on the timeline as well as all the features that are going to be included. Obviously, there's going to be a blog, a video, and a bunch of other documentation out when the release comes if you want to deep dive into it, but we're here to give you a quick breakdown for you lovely open source people. Matthias, any updates on the release?
So in general, we can say we are feature complete. So we are in code freeze. The release engineers are currently at work of stabilizing little tidbits, bits and bobs. So we expect the release to be available very soon. Keep an eye out for the usual release announcements, and the best way to be sure is to check either on Quay or official organization, or check in the Helm charts, because they will definitely let you know once the upstream is released and also once the downstream is released. Whereas downstream also is available in the operator, so keep an eye out in your usual OpenShift management console to make sure that you always stay up to date.
Yeah, or the Slack channel. We'll be posting as soon as everything's green lit with all the resources that you need. So this is a pretty feature heavy release. There's a lot of big updates. I think we have like 10 bullet points here in total in the community notes. Do you want to kick it off with the first major update?
Yeah, so this one is a real cool one, which is our scanner that is that's primarily concerned is scanning Docker images and nodes, will be migrated to Claire v4. So it's been based on a little bit of an older version of Claire, and we are completely redesigning the core around Claire v4. So we will have a unified scanner that will give the same scanning results compared to Claire. And the only thing, or more specifically, we're in this release, we will be rolling out Scanner v2 and v4 on parallel, just to be sure, because not all features have been migrated just yet. One of the features that is still on Scanner v2 is node scanning, which is a thing that my engineering team is actually currently working on migrating to v4 as well. So this is part one of two, and likely in the next release, or at the latest, the release after, we will be sunsetting Scanner v2 and not deploying it anymore. But that's
Yeah,
not all that we've got, right?
I was going to say, for context, like coming from StackRox before Red Hat was acquired StackRox, we forked Claire. So we took
Yeah.
Claire, and the scanners went in two different directions. And so they both had their strengths. They both solved different problems. And now with the merge, you're getting the best of both worlds. And you're also getting like additional Golang support. You're getting sort of the best of both. And it also allows for quicker updates because let's say engineering is less spread out across two open source projects. Now they're just focused on one. So look forward to more updates in 4.5, especially with that node scanning. For Scanner v4, if you want to check it out as part of 4.4, you have to enable it. So Scanner v2 is the one that typically shifts with 4.4. So it's there, test it out, see if you like it. We'll give you an update on 4.5 when it becomes the default scanner or not. I'm not in engineering,
Correct.
so I can't say, but eventually that will be the case. On to the next thing. So we have network policy tools going GA. This is the netpol generate or netpol connectivity CLI command. So that's roxctl netpol generate, and that generates network policies in the build time. So really useful for developers who have your manifest, your Kubernetes manifest to generate network policies. You can also see, the connectivity if you have a bunch of manifests of a whole application or namespace. You can see all of those different connections and then figure out how to let's say limit those to create some zero trust. So moving on, we have bring your own database as Boaz and Van join. So bring your own database for ACS Central is now GA. That was part of the large 4.0 migration last year. We allowed customers and users to bring their own PostgreSQL database. And now we're very happy that it's officially supported. Now you could always use it as part of StackRox, but it is supported if you are using ACS, the paid version of StackRox. Anything I missed so far, Matthias? Boaz, you missed the whole netpol spiel, but thanks for joining.
So I don't think we've missed anything so far. There are some additional improvements around RoxStar check deployments. So this one is also now able to scan multiple deployments or check multiple deployments at once that are even spread across multiple files. So that's also in the whole RoxScuttle deployment and netpol generation area. So we're constantly improving our integration with that and the quality of the commands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another, well, one of my favorite features, especially for engineering headaches, is the core BPF module. So we originally had the eBPF module as a default. Now core BPF will be the default module in 4.4. We were talking in the StackRox channel with a friend of the open source project, Dane, and he was having a little issues with the original BPF module. Apparently now he switched. It's a lot better. This has to do with just a lot of the let's say data structures and things like that that happen between all the Linux operating systems. And so core BPF really standardizes it across all of them so that you can have that compile once, run everywhere strategy. So less engineering headaches, less support tickets, less issues with the collector randomly getting deployed on different Linux distributions and causing issues. Again, that'll be the default in 4.4. So make sure that if you're updating, just know that that will be changing over. Along with that, uh, sort of makeover to the way that we install clusters. So the init bundle GUI has an improvement for anybody who's ever gone and added a cluster via the UI. You'll notice that there's like Helm charts, there's operators, there's a script that you can use, and you kind of have to go back and forth between two panes. Now we made it extremely easy just to grab those certifications, create a new cluster, and then use an operator or Helm chart to deploy it. So it's a lot better to use, and especially for those ACS super users, I think you'll find it a lot cleaner. There is a new integration with Paladin Cloud Security Posture Management and Red Hat OpenShift Cluster Manager. You'll see that in the integration tab in ACS when you scroll down. This is so when you use those management tools and you have all of those Kubernetes clusters, you'll be able to see which clusters are not running ACS. So they'll be able to pop up, show you security alert and say, hey, these clusters are not secure. And that just really makes sure that, well, one, if you're using infrastructure as code, you should be automatically bringing the ACS module up and syncing that cluster with ACS. And so there is going to be some slight changes that you're going to want to make. That's the goal. Matthias, I know we have the beginning of a big compliance overhaul. I was hoping you could get into it.
Yeah, so similar to Claire, we have with compliance a similar situation where we are starting widespread development on a V2 version or an improved version of our compliance checks. So when we started as a standalone product, obviously we built our own compliance checks, but now that we are part of Red Hat, we can actually tap into the vast resources that Red Hat has. That is the compliance operator. So what is actually happening is the first steps and preparations of a tighter integration between the compliance operator on one hand and ACS on the other hand. So what we're preparing right now is improving the quality of reporting and the consistency of reporting across the whole Red Hat portfolio, basically. So whether you use the compliance operator standalone or as a plugin for something else, it will report the same things that ACS will ultimately do. And the next-gen compliance is a bigger undertaking that is likely to stretch across multiple releases. So stay tuned. It's going to improve and get better every release.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Last two, let's say, tidbits to point out is short-lived tokens through ACS. So securing the API access via short-lived tokens. As you know, short-lived tokens are a much more secure way. Well, I shouldn't say much more, but a more secure way than using long-lived tokens. I believe that can you change the time limit on those tokens in ACS, or is it through the authentication provider?
So we have recently, so that depends on the authentication provider setup.
Yeah.
But if you generate your own tokens, these can be. I think that we even had a recent change going in that you can now set these how long you want. So custom custom, yeah, basically lifetime. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And along with that, there is a ACS or StackRox integration into cloud provider services and short-lived tokens. So tech preview, this is with 4.4 for AWS and GCP. So if you're integrating into what is it, artifacts, cloud artifact, G Cloud,
It
artifact
is,
registry,
and
it's artifact registry, right? Like if you're pulling containers from that and you need authentication to do scanning and make sure you're pulling vulnerability data, you could set up those short-lived tokens.
yeah,
Okay.
it's basically machine-to-machine authentication between ACS and cloud providers.
Yeah. Cool. We do have Boaz and Van on the line. Is there anything we missed in the release? Anything you're looking forward to? Anything you want to talk about? On the spot.
No, that sounds good. I want to add to Matthias's enthusiasm about compliance, because compliance operator really does things differently than in a sense better than what StackRox used to do, because it also includes remediation. And that's something that StackRox didn't get to. So this is what customers are looking for. It is also, it's been there for many years. It's proven. Red Hat wrote the book, honestly, right? With compliance, it works at the node level, and it's amazing tool. And now it's just integrated into ACS. And I guess the next part, and that's going to be interesting for anyone in the community to be involved and contribute, is what do people want to see in workload compliance? And again, StackRox led the chart here. We have a lot of those cases in compliance today. It's interesting how people look at it, because bottom line question is, you're in front of an auditor. What is it going to take to get you through the audit? That's what people care about. And so they're different experiences, and it'll be really interesting to get some of the community involved here in providing feedback.
For sure. Yeah, we've had some community involvement on a slightly different topic. I know Matthias had finally merged some community contributions, and we'll be reaching out to say thank you. We really appreciate it, and we hope to have more contributions like that. And Boaz, I'll put something in the Slack channel, the chat, if you're looking for feedback. I know that I've talked to a couple users who have dealt with security teams, and it's typically the security team looking at risk, and they see the compliance standards, and they're like, hey, you need to fix these couple things. And so it would be obviously extremely powerful to have some automated remediations or suggestions there. So looking forward to it. Until next time in April, in the second Tuesday of April, we'll see you in the Slack channel, and we'll let you know when 4.4 is out for everybody to use. Thanks for joining. See you next month.
Take care.